Okay. Black is going with the copycat variation. And pawn up? No. Wait a second. Let me try. Maybe I want to go for e3 and d4. That's different. Let's try it. If black isn't careful, if they're just going to play knight c6 and allow me to maintain a pawn on d4 for one move and then press forward, that could be a big problem. So right now, after this, I think I better go with it. First off, let's get this in, and now we're going to be seeing d5. So what is this transposing into? It looks like we have a line out of the Caro-Kann Panov-Botvinnik attack, but is this like Rogozin-ish? Let's see. What do you do in response to this move? There's queen check. It's bishop d3, I think. Bishop d3. Yeah, let's go with bishop d3. Okay. Just castle, get out of the pin. I could be hit with, or saddled with an isolated queen pawn at any moment. This exchange could occur. I could throw a question to this bishop, but... well, actually, that's something to look into. Maybe. Because maybe before I give black an opportunity to go with the structural change, like if I do a3 and it runs away, maybe I could go forward c5 and then I'm in a spot to support c5 with b4. Although after a3 there is d takes c, and then the bishop could run away. I think it's okay. Let me do it right now. Let's see what black is going to do. Would they give up the bishop for knight? Are they going to run away? Are they going to throw in an in-betweener? Those are three candidate moves, I think, that black has here. Queen a5 I'm not too afraid of. It just prevents bishop takes pawn for a move. After bishop d2, then they have to answer a question. And now I'm seriously giving consideration to changing the structure and establishing a 3-2 majority on the queen side. Now, if there's a drawback with that, the one thing I'm going to be looking into is maybe a central push by black, because if I'm going to end up with a 3-2 majority on the queen side, that implies that black is going to have a 2-1 majority in the center, and I'll have to look into the e5 move and see if it's going to work out well for black. I'm not castled yet, but okay, just a single move away, not that far off. If I play b4 right now, there once again is the possibility for taking. And maybe I don't want to even allow that. I'm going to try it. Let's see how it works. Let's see how black deals with this structural change. Okay, b4 could be played with tempo. Let me do that right now. I think e5 could get played by force. So, should I kick this knight away? Maybe I should do that before it's in a spot to facilitate this e5 advance. However, better move quick. That's one thing. And another thing is that maybe black has a good move here. And maybe they could have just ignored the threat on the knight and played here with the fork in mind. So let me get castled. So these guys are pretty far advanced, and well, now this pawn is a beast. However, after a6, and maybe I shouldn't have done that move. I think a6 is good, but now it's not so good. I wouldn't have had this a4 move in response to a6, but now I'm in a spot to be able to do that. Let me see. Where does my dark square bishop belong? I think I want to keep my rook here. I did think about bishop to this square, but I don't know. I think I just want to recapture the pawn. This is it's difficult to get this guy working. I want to kind of weasel my dark square bishop around. Rook e1 is purposeful. Let's do this. If pawn push, I could take the knight and only then recapture on the e. Queen d6 is interesting. If I control this pawn push, I control this bishop. That's one way to look at this position. Controlling a pawn push may turn out to be controlling this bishop. Queen is getting ready to line up here. I think I just take here and throw my knight into this square. I think that's best. I'm giving up my light square bishop, but what here? One of the things to question is, if you give up your light square bishop, will your opponent's light square bishop give you a beating? And I don't think that that's going to happen if this pawn can't move, because these two guys knock out all three of these squares, a6, b7, d7, and if this pawn can't move, the bishop is dead. So control this square is the main idea. Sometimes there'll be a knight d7 move. I'm also stopping that. This is a connected pass pawn, quite deep in the black territory. 1 minute. Having to fight back time-wise. Bishop here, bishop g3, just to keep things nice and cozy. Control over e5. Okay, let's get there right now. I think I almost just mouse slipped there. By mouse slip, I mean my mouse literally almost just slipped off of my mouse pad. Bishop g3, I guess in response to knight move here. I could end up with two knights versus two bishops. Well, this bishop is proving to just end up, like, there's a disconnect between those guys. Let's challenge that rook before it gets excited about coming down to a3 or a4, putting pressure on my knight. It's very difficult to get rid of this guy with f6, with an f6 move, because I always have a knight takes pawn. So I might as well pre-move this. There's nothing better. About a minute advantage. Okay, well, I can also go with getting the queens off the board. But you know what? After I take this rook, the bishop's unprotected. So I have tricks. Knight takes pawn is available with check. Grab a pawn, and now I have a dark square bishop that'll be able to conveniently watch over this e5 square. And I think once again, just challenging any black piece that tries to get control of the a file is a good idea. Even in an opposite color bishop ending, for example, knight here, takes, having just a bishop and pawn here, again, once again, controlling e6 is controlling the game. And now I could actually go for more material. I could get b6, and I don't think that there's any hurry. Yeah, there's no hurry with that. I guess pawn push is available just to free up the position, and just giving that up. Gotta go quick. Go quick. I could, I'm seeing a line where I could maybe just give up my knight in order to promote my pawn. Right here in particular. Takes, rook takes, I just come behind my pawn. I wasn't seeing that line though. Let's make sure I get a flight square. Get a flight square before it's too late. Pawn push is available. Okay, now it's not available. King up. King up. Where's my time gone? It's a wonderful question. I don't know that I have a good answer to it. Are the rooks really going to come off? That really wouldn't happen. I could maybe get a mate. If the king is too reckless, it could be mate real soon. King g4. King g4 is mate. Not going there. Where'd my time go? Where did it go? Tricky checks. Let's pre-move. Let's do this. It's an easy pre-move to make. Get my bishop right here. Trade rooks. Can I have a rook trade? Rook trade it is. Back up. Okay, time. Time. I wasted a lot of time on that one. But I'm pretty sure I kept control over it. But there were opportunities in that middle game for my opponent, I believe. Good game. Let's flip this and go through it quickly. What's the scoop here? What about in this position? Okay, so I have this bishop b4 line. Right now, again, I'm just throwing it out there for my opponent if they're listening now, and also again for those that might just be jumping in and weren't listening when I was playing it live. But you could, I think, as black, consider taking here and then running back to e7. That's one thing. And once again, right here, I think there might even be a possibility for knight e4. I didn't reference this during the game, but maybe there's something with knight e4. Right here, I push, you go back, you're getting ready for that e5 break, and right now, I think this is another possibility. I think you end up losing a pawn, though, so maybe not. e5, if I take your knight, you push forward e4, you're getting your minor piece back, but after I take, you recapture. I end up, okay, I'll be up a pawn. But I thought that was interesting. Did I allow you? Okay, I allowed this. Right here's another opportunity to break at this structure. If I'm allowed to maintain this, it's just overwhelming, and it was present for the remainder of the game, this structure. You do have one opportunity to break at this b5, c6 structure with a6 right now. You move the rook, but now it's too late when you break at it, because I could get an a4 and rook here. I'm out of any pin along the a file, etc. So it's very time sensitive when it comes to breaking at that structure. After c6, do it right now with a6. But the earliest suggestion, because I think from then on, excuse me, it's a very uphill battle. I control e5, and I think I'm controlling the game at that point. So look into that a6 move right away should you get into that position, and also this right here. Instead of reacting right away to the threat, consider takes and then coming back to, let's say, e7, anticipating, let's say, an eventual pin on g5, just kind of going back and working against this isolated pawn on the d4 square. Anyhow, those are some of my thoughts right there, some of my suggestions. So, okay, good game. Let's close out.